Hi, are you curious about how to buy and build a house in Italy? The cost, the process and everything? Have a look here. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Living the Villas. I'm Cathrine and this is Erik. We build houses in Italy and live on a boat during the summer. 2 of our houses are located in Piemonte and the last one on Lake Como. In the season, we use the houses in our guest concept, and in the winter, we enjoy and maintain the properties here in Italy. We left the treadmill in Denmark and are now testing another way of living here in Italy and on board our Greenline 40 hybrid, exploring the world. Follow us on our adventures and please like and subscribe. That's what we YouTubers live for.
Welcome back. In this episode on our little channel, Living the Villas, we will talk about how to buy and how to renovate a house in Italy. What is the processes, what is the price, what to watch for, what to pay attention to. The first one, we made a list, so this will be a very quick run through. Also because we had a lot of email and comments about these issues, so we thought it was easier to do a little question and answer.
A Q&A.
Q&A, yes. Living the Villas. How to
the first Q&A.
Yes.
The most important is where? Do you want it southern part, northern part? Where in Italy do you want it? Is it going to be on the countryside or in a village or on the mountain or whatever? That's the first thing you have to decide by yourself.
We have a little business called My Bare Hands, where we help people in this process, and you're of course very welcome to join that. And one of the issues is a lot of people are not decided where to buy and build. They are talking about isolated place in the mountains, secluded luxury, but in a walking distance to a lot of Michelin restaurants and things like that. And it's not possible to do that. No. So that's why Cathrine took this at
and very early.
Number 1.
Yeah, and very early in the process, we also tell people you have to kill some of your darlings because you can't have a secluded location and quietness and expect walking distance for something. Then you have to really decide, what do you want from this? What's the purpose? And also, is it going to be just for you and the kids or some friends and some family? Or are you also going to make it as a rental business? So there's a lot of issues that you have to decide with yourself. What's the purpose with this? Beside having a nice house in Italy.
A lot of people come to us. We are at Lake Como right now. We're sitting in our Prosecco bar and talking to you guys. And a lot of people come here and say, we want to find something on Lake Como, a very nice place. And we have a budget of, let's say, 500,000 euro. And we want 2 parking spaces with a garage. And we want this and this and this and this. But this is a mountainside, and the villas by the lake, of course, has garage and parking space. But there you're talking about millions of dollars or euros. Talk about George Clooney about that issue. Let's jump to number 2. That is the process.
Yeah.
When you find a house here in Italy that you love, with or without our help, you find a project, you love it. The first thing you do is you make a bid. And that can be difficult because especially people from Scandinavia, Denmark, as we are, think they should do a very good
bargain.
A bargain.
Yeah.
They should come with a low figure and hope to get a good bargain there. Don't do that in Italy. You can get something cut off the price, but not a lot. If it's a spot, it's a project you love, buy it. That's my advice, number 1. What you do is you go to the real estate agent or your consultant and you make a 10% down payment, and that is done very quickly in 1 or 2 or few days. And after that, your consultant, the real estate agent or your consultant, do not use a lawyer. You don't need that. But your real estate agent or your consultant or whoever helps you, or us, will book a time at the notary in the commune where you buy. your property. Here in Carrara is a small town, so we do not have a notary. That business is in Como. A notary in Italy is a sort of a lawyer, but a self-employed, not a government person, but works for the government. And in these months from you book until you show up at the notary with the seller, he checks everything about your property, rights, rules.
Who is owning the property?
Who owns the property?
Is there any people in the family who has a small part of all those details, or is there any debt in the property?
Yes, or
and
issues
all
with the neighbors,
all those things is the work of the notary.
So what you do is you pay down the 10%, and then book the time of the notary. At the notary, you will pay for the property with a bank check. Yeah, it's not that modern here in Italy, but you do that and you get the keys and the papers on the house, the how do you say, not the final papers, but papers that with all the signatures.
With all the signatures, the seller is at the notary and the buyer, and then of course the notary and some other witnesses, and then the whole act is there, and everybody signs all papers. And
the property is yours.
Yeah.
Let's jump to the next one. We promised it should not be a full night video.
Yeah. Then what's the purpose? Then I took a bit about that. Talk about So you have to clear out your mind what you want what's the purpose of your house? Buying the house?
Is it what you mean? Is it a property you buy for investment, for renting out, or is it only for you and your family? What size is it? What is it? It's so difficult for the real estate agents and also for us when you come down and say, yeah, we're looking at something on the countryside and we're looking at a house in the village, and we don't know the size, about 100 square meters, maybe 400 square meters. I mean, take this in and discuss it with your partner in life and find out what you're going to do before you start the process. Yeah. That's our advice.
That's large part of the process is to define what you would like to do, and also the how much effort you want to put in it. I mean, the work. That's what I meant. Are you going to buy something that's more or less done, or do you want to build something? Do you want to buy something that really needs a lot of
You want to buy a rustico, or you want to buy an almost finished house, or you want to buy a totally finished apartment where you only are handed the key and you can move in. Yeah. Make that clear with yourself. And I have to say, this is Q&A in our opinion. I mean, other people has other opinions on that. This is Cathrine and me. This is our opinions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cost of buying.
Cost of buying, that's me. When you buy a property in Italy and you buy it as a private person, you pay a tax. Relative low tax is around 0.4, 0.7%, it depends. And that you pay of the physical value. So if the building you're buying has a physical value of let's say 100,000, you can do the math. Around 0.5% of that. And that is what you're buying. When you own the property, of course, you pay what you call that, IMO in Italy, real estate tax.
Annual tax
on the building. And that is different from region to region and commune. So yeah, look that up. The cost of renovating a building. That is a question we get often.
Yeah, and that's also question. A difficult
and that's like asking me, what does a car cost?
A used car.
A used car. What does a used car cost? Can you tell me that? No, you cannot. If you're buying something in Italy, I would say in 99.9% you will have some work to do, because you will probably not live with the style and the condition the building is found in. So I've written down here, take into consider that at least 1,000 euro per square meter, up to 2,000 euro per square meter. If it's a rustico where everything has to be done, like this house, Villa Crotto, new roof, new everything.
New everything.
Yeah, plumbing, new electricity, new everything, is around 2,000 euro per square meter. Yes.
Yeah.
And remember the IVA. IVA is tax. In Danish we call it moms, but in Italy it's called IVA. And on a construction of a building, the IVA is 10%. If you buy a door to your house after the construction, the IVA is 22% at the moment.
So it's actually cheaper to do the whole thing at one time instead of do some add-ons, because the difference in the tax.
Next one is for you.
Next is not everything is for sale.
This is also a question we get all the time.
It's a classic, because when people are driving around and they see an old ruin, an old something, and say, oh, that's exactly what I want. But it's not for sale, because a lot of buildings, people are extremely emotional. So there could be an old farmhouse with some storyo, and that was the grandmother, and that was this and that. And there's also the issue about when somebody died and the family inherits, there could be like 16 people who inherit a part of this building. And then if one or two, just one, is not interested in selling, then it's not for sale. So they got some kind of
what we hear from people we advise is, no, we found this fantastic rustico here by the lake or in Piemonte, where we also have the houses. And Erik and Cathrine, that must definitely be for sale, because there's no roof, there's nothing. We need to buy that. That can be very easy and probably to a fine price, low price, because it's such an old house. And you need to know, just advise, not everything is for sale.
But when that's said, then there is often a lot of investigation, because then sometimes when you find this property that's could be very interesting, then it's possible to find out who owns it. It's also a very can be a costly process and take long time to find out who owns it, but it's also possible. It's not just easy. You don't just go on a website and say tuk 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 and then pop out the owner of the building. But
exactly,
that's
it can be done.
Yeah, it can be done.
We have connections who can do that. Next one is...
That's yours.
Yeah, that's mine.
How to manage from a distance.
How to manage your construction, your renovation from a distance. Yeah. It's not easy. You need to come here and you need good people. We were here and in Piemonte one time a month to have a meeting, and that can of course be a problem if you live in the United States. So we have a good idea. You can use us. We can speak English, a bit of English, and a sort of English, and we can make what is called video meetings with you and the builder, and look after. Now we're living in Italy. We can do this, but of course it's not easy. But the main advice I would give you on that is find some people that you rely on.
Yeah,
you have the trust in the people.
If you don't have the time to go to Italy,
that's what I mean.
Minimum once a month, in my opinion, that's absolutely minimum.
Absolutely minimum. Yes. Yeah. Find some people you believe in, you have faith to, and trust and faith. So we're helping people here in Italy and are enjoying our work. So you're welcome. The next one is yours.
Decoration, furnitures, etc.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of things are different in Italy. It could be like bed sizes or bed standards. So if you are very particular about something, then sometimes it's easier to buy it and have it transported. But when that's said, I'm also very much into using local materials and making an Italian house in Italy, not making a Danish or American or French or English house in Italy. some issues you must consider, okay, this is the standard I need. Could be like the beds is actually a very good one in my opinion. So yeah, that's also something you have to consider.
Yeah, and we must say, because some people will comment on this, we are talking at Danes because we're Danish. Maybe you have other other
for
needs.
our standard.
Maybe you have other needs if you're from the US or whatever, from Britain. You could have, or Germany, you could have other needs than we Danish people
Definitely.
have. But you need to take the Italian things, furnitures, and use what you like and then add your own things. The beds are a very good example. If you're used to have these kind of beds, maybe they're not available in Italy. And also, when we first came to Italy many years ago, we thought, oh, Italy is a furniture designing country, so there could be no problem in finding what you want. That's not the issue. Maybe Italy do a lot of nice things, but normally the Italians don't want to spend money on these things. Lighting is a good example. So, But we need to say that we also help people with that issue.
We help with everything.
Everything, decoration, and especially lighting.
Lighting, we're very good at lighting.
It's one of our specialties.
Yeah.
As a photographer and as a person who owned a
lamp shop for years,
a design lamp shop for 10 years, more than 10 years, we know about that as well. We know about that issue. Yes.
How to build.
To build.
The rules.
That's you. Yeah.
Rules, trust, cost. Yes. Materials. Yeah. That's also an issue. Now I actually forgot what it was.
Yeah, what you meant with this one is we made these 10 points yesterday. When you build, I take that a little bit. Yeah. When you build in Italy, you have to follow several rules. You cannot decide to have a modern house in a farmhouse area. For example, this house is yellow. The Kommune gave us the choice of making this house white or yellow, and not any yellow color. We had to do samples 6 or 9 times. We went to the Kommune with samples, real samples of the cement, the product they used outside, for the Kommune to decide.
Not just the color code, it had to be the actual material on a piece of wood or whatever.
And we helped some Danish people in Piemonte with building a very, very nice house. We'll show you a picture. And the Kommune decided that they should have shutters. They didn't want it to have shutters. They have a modern look of the house in the old stone, of course. You can see in the pictures here. And the Kommune said, that's fine, you can build that house, but you need to install shutters in the house. And of course, that was extra cost for them. But Italy looks like Italy.
We talked about that earlier, and that's also one of the things we really love about Italy, and most people also love about Italy, and it's also a bit annoying when you can't do what you want because you think, oh, this is an amazing idea and I want it to look like this because it looks so good. But if everybody does that and have different opinions on what looks good, then Italy will not continue looking like Italy as we all love it. So even though it's a bit hard to accept, then it's actually quite a good rule because
it's pretty cool.
Yes, it's pretty cool.
Yes. Italy have these rules. Yes. We must say.
Yeah. Because when you have the design and that's also one of the reasons why you have to work with a local architect, because the local architect knows what will be approved when you have to get the building permit in the Kommune.
Yes.
So it's, even though you know a very skilled architect or something, it's very much easier process to use a local architect.
That's a good point there. When you renovate a house in Italy, you need to use, that's the law, you need to use an architect or geometer, as it's called. Geometer is a sort of architect.
He's also kind of nice, but not creative.
No, more technical.
Yeah.
You need to use one of those, and our recommendation is always to use a local person, also for going to the commune with your ideas. We often hear ideas about opening up, especially Scandinavian people want to open up with huge windows and things like that, but you're not allowed to do that. Maybe you can do it, maybe not, but yeah, it's a give and take at the commune. You can get some and taking a little bit off. We had a balcony made a little bit smaller and 2 balconies deleted.
Yeah.
So
it's also depending on the area, because actually this house is in a special area, but if it was a neighbor house, it's not the same area, so there are the rules in the almost next door neighbor. So it also depends on where it is.
It can be in Piemonte and different places in Italy. It can be in this UNESCO areas, also. And you're almost not allowed to change anything on the houses. As Cathrine says, this house on Lake Como is in a historical area, and we're not allowed to have more or less anything changed. The roof had to be red tile and things like that.
Yeah, and as you said about the color, I mean,
extremely
crazy small details.
Time is running. Yep. The last one is very, very boring. So if you're tired now, you can switch to something else. But it's about how to finance your house in Italy. We hear I think that's question number 2 or 3. Yeah. You have different opportunities, but of course the best is to have your money yourself in a saving and come to Italy with that. That's the easy part. You can take a loan in your local country, maybe with the security in your local house, in your country, or you can take a loan or use your savings from your country, come to Italian bank, use a consultant that knows the bank. We can advise you at that point as well. Go to the bank and normally pay around half the cost of buying and renovating yourself with your own saving or the money from your local bank in your country or whatever you do. But around 50%.
You have to have minimum 50% yourself.
Yes, or 40 or something like that. Around 50, let's say it's like that. Italian banks are not difficult to work with, but not easy to work with. So they want security, as all banks want. So that's it. You cannot get a mortgage like you can in Denmark. We don't know anything about the other countries we're having viewers from, so we don't know how it is in the US, for example, but you cannot get a normal mortgage that you can in Denmark, where you pay in 30 years or something, a very low interest. So it's something else.
Being able to finance it with money from your home is actually very much easy.
Yes, I'm sorry to say.
For the process.
Time is running.
Yeah, that was it.
I think people are tired about hearing Q&A from us now. So shouldn't we say, hope to see you again. One last thing. Please remember to push the little button to subscribe on our channel. Like and share. We love it. See you next time.
Ciao.
Bye.